All right, folks, welcome once again. It's episode 277 of the First and Frame Rate Show. Hope you guys are having a great morning. This is Hump Day. This is Wednesday. It's also Groundhog Day. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be transpiring throughout today, and hopefully I'll get a chance to cover all of that in the next episode. But right now, some breaking news just happened earlier with Brian Flores. I really want to touch on that for a second before I get into the topic on the show. And also, the Washington football team has a new name as well. We'll touch on that really quick. But let's get some house cleaning out of the way. Welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. This is Wednesday, episode 277. I appreciate you guys. If this is your first time here, welcome. Hopefully you guys will hang out and enjoy, subscribe to the channel, and continue to get all this information. Now, over here, I talk about Georgia Southern football, also talk about Atlanta Falcons football, two of my favorite teams. I always try to put out all type of information that is available that I find interesting, that I think you guys will find interesting. And right now, not much is going on the Georgia Southern front. Georgia Southern is basically getting ready to do their National Signing Day. I think that's also today as well. So there's a lot going on. And all that stuff will be covered once I get the news available for the next episode. And with that being said, the Falcons, Coach Arthur Smith, Terry Fontenot, Kyle Smith, and the player personnel, vice president of player personnel, Kyle Smith, and the offensive coordinator, Dave Ragone, whole crew is down into Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. So I find that exciting, and hopefully, we'll get some good results out of what they see. Real quick, if you guys haven't already, hit the like button, share this video, or if you're on the podcast side, share the podcast, subscribe to the channel. If you can subscribe on the podcast side as well. I'm on iTunes, Google Play, I'm on Stitcher, Anchor, Spotify, all those great places. You guys can check me out there. And all right, let's get into this really quick. Brian Flores has filed a lawsuit against the NFL. He's alleged, he's claiming that racism and injustice. From the way things look, it looks really bad for the NFL, to be honest with you. I mean, the guy did nothing but win the last 7 out of 8 or 8 or 9 games or something like that. And there's allegations saying that he was supposed to be tanking for $100,000 a pop. Also, the whole infamous text message between him and Bill Belichick, when Belichick thought he texted the other coach, but he texted the wrong coach. It's really weird. It's really jacked up, to be honest. And I don't want to get too much far into it. I just want to let you know that I do acknowledge what's going on, and I'm just going to watch how it plays out. And while I watch, I'm going to give you my gut feeling, and I'm going to jump over to the next topic. I think they're going to settle this. I think the NFL do not want this out here. They're probably going to do the same thing that they did with Kaepernick. Unfortunately, I would like to hear about all the allegations that's going on and take it to trial, and hopefully we can expose other people, because stuff like this does not need to be happening. It's just point blank. But I mean, I don't care what color you are or whatever the case may be. This type of stuff shouldn't be happening. And honestly, the whole system needs to come down with everybody who's guilty. But unfortunately, just like with the Kaepernick situation, I have a gut feeling that this situation will probably be settled and sealed. Unfortunately, it's just the gut feeling off the top. I've seen it too many times. Now, the Washington football team name is leaked, and from shout out to Joe Theismann. I also saw the picture on Twitter. Look like they're going to be named the Washington Commanders. I don't have a problem with the name. I think it was out of left field because I thought it was going to be like the Red Wolves or something, but they're going to call themselves the Washington Commanders. And when you think about it, it kind of makes sense with the rest of the teams in the DC area. Washington Capitals, the Washington Nationals, I can't remember what the WNBA team name is. It just slipped my mind, but they have that type of name, so it looks like it seems like it has something to do with that. But whatever, Washington Commanders. Okay, but let's go ahead and get into the topic at hand. Arthur Smith and company, Terry Fontenot and crew, they're down in Mobile, Alabama, and they're looking at players at the Senior Bowl. If you're looking at this on the video side of things on YouTube, you see where the picture of Arthur Smith and offensive coordinator Dave Ragone is actually together. Shout out to, I want to make sure I get this right before I say anything wrong. Let me see if I can find this out. Kelly Price. Shout out to Kelly Price of the Fox 5 Sports in Atlanta. I'm pretty sure this is her picture. I don't want to take any credit because I wasn't there, but she took this picture. I would want to say so, and has those guys down there. Now, this is a big deal. Off season is started. No matter what, the Super Bowl is right around the corner, but these guys are working, and you like to see stuff like that. You want to see your team working. It's been a disappointing season and an overachieving season at the same time. We end up getting 7 wins. We still have a lot of question marks on the team. This is another reason why these guys are down there. I'm all for this. Now, with that being said, I'm going to look at a list of guys that are down at the Senior Bowl, and I want to try to correlate who guys what they may be looking at. With the guys on hand, look like they're going to be looking at edge rushers. I would not be surprised at that. I wouldn't be surprised they're looking at quarterbacks as well, because even with the Matt Ryan situation, you do want somebody to be an heir apparent or whatever. Somebody that could play pretty good that you could pick up in the 3rd or 4th round. You'd probably be looking at a running back as well because we need somebody who can run the ball. And we just got finished hiring a new running backs coach. So all this right here is something to really look at. So with that being said, one more thing, offensive line, there may be another something that was maybe another thing that we'd be looking at as well. So that's going to be another thing that may be out there. Defensive backs, somebody to help AJ Terrell. So it's we have a lot of needs, but we already had some type of inkling that they say they're going to take the best player available no matter where they are in the draft. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they do this. Now, why I want to think that this is really exciting, it shows that these guys want to make things happen. They're not just being stagnant. They're not being ho-hum. They're not, scouting these guys from a distance. They're in these scouts' face. And I don't know how much of a big deal that plays. It's not like the same thing as college recruiting, but they're making their presence known, and that's a big deal because it benefits them. They're the ones that's going to be having to look at this talent because the guys don't get to choose what team they go to. They're going to be drafted. It's totally different from college where you have to convince a guy to commit. So with them being down there, Terry Fontenot has already been saying that Terry Fontenot was watching from the booth up top and everybody else's hands on the ground. I can say on the ground, but on the field. And it's really cool to see how these guys are going to be evaluating what they're going to see. Who's going to be in their eye? And I know they're going to keep their secrets close to the chest. They're not going to really let us know, but it's really going to be interesting to see who's a standout and how close or how attentive that they are of seeing who's standing out or who's going to be the guy that they look at number 8 or at, I think they're at the number 42 and 48 or something like that. I don't know, 58. They have they got 3 picks in the top 60. What happens with Calvin Ridley if they decide to trade him? Do we get another 2nd round or 1st round pick? I hope it's a 1st round, but do they get that as well? So now you're talking about 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. I mean, the sky, when you look at the Atlanta Falcons and we give them a lot of flack. We do, because we felt like, with the quarterback we have and the team that we have, we should be a lot better. And it's really disappointing. But for them to win 7 games and still be in a position to get a lot of picks to continue to build on what with Coach Smith and Terry Fontenot started is actually amazing when you really think about it at the end of the day. And I'm really excited about it because I know a lot of, like I said, another thing, a lot of people give Matt Ryan a lot of flack. Right now he's the leading, all-time leading passer in the NFL. Thank you, Tom Brady. But that really means nothing. My thing is, Matt Ryan has played very tough this season, and I feel that he can continue to play at a high level. One of the main things we're going to have to do is definitely keep him upright. Definitely keep him upright. Now, I've always said that you keep Matt Ryan upright, you always have a chance to win. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do so very well, and despite all that, we've been doing okay. As far as, going 7-10, because this is to be honest with you, this is a 3-win team. This is maybe another 4-win team. Like I said before on Twitter, if Jimmy Garoppolo, if any was it Jalen Hurts, you could take about half or probably like 70% of these playoff quarterbacks that made the playoffs. If they were on the Falcons, we would have won 7 games. There's no way Jimmy Garoppolo would have got 7 wins out of this Falcons team. There's no way that Jalen Hurts, and it's not a knock on them. It's just that, they're good, but in the face of adversity like this, it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how mobile you are. Like if you got an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady, hell, even a Matt, maybe. You know what? I don't think Matthew Stafford would have got 7 wins with this team. Could anybody tell me different? I don't even think Matthew Stafford would have got 7 wins with this team. And like I said, it's not a knock on him. I'm just looking at the total, the total picture of this. I just don't see it. But with that being said, it's like when you got what you have and you can build off of it, you get some more, you fortify or you solidify that offensive line. Even if you solidify the offensive line with the same running backs you have, the running backs want to play better just because they have, they're going to have holes to run through. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to work out for them if that's the case. Also, if we're able to get some receivers, that'll be another thing that we can do. You know what I mean? So it's there for the pickings. It's just us. It's just up to us to pick the right players and put them in position. So that's all we have to do at the end of the day. All right. So sorry for the hold up, everybody. That's my son. He's here. If you guys are on the podcast side, you don't see him. He's here playing with me, playing behind me. So, but with that being said, it's like I think this is a pretty good opportunity for Arthur Smith and company to actually do something with this team. Now, with that being said, let's look at, and I'm going to flip this picture right here on the screen so you guys can see what I see. Now, these are the attendees that you may want to look out for when you have when that are going to be at the Senior Bowl. All right. Right now, we got Kenny Pickett at Pitt. These are the quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett at Pitt, Sam Howell at North Carolina, Desmond Ridder at Cincinnati, Malik Willis, and Carson Strong. These are the 5 quarterbacks there. Now, I will say, I don't know what type of situation that they're going to be doing with the quarterbacks. I'm afraid to touch any of these quarterbacks, to be honest with you. I don't want to touch any of these quarterbacks when it comes to I don't want to touch any of these quarterbacks when it comes to Atlanta Falcons, to be honest with you. Maybe if Carson Strong is there later, I mean, a lot of people are high on Malik Willis, but I don't see it. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I just don't see it for him to be sitting behind Matt Ryan for 1 or 2 years. So maybe there'll be something else we'll see, but I don't know. Looking at running backs, Hassan Haskins at Michigan, James Cook at Georgia, Tyler Batty at Missouri, and Brian Robinson at Alabama. Jerome Ford at Cincinnati, which I think this is the guy right here. Jerome Ford at Cincinnati might be that guy. Rashad White at Arizona State and Zaquadri White at South Carolina. James Cook obviously is the favorite for a lot of Falcons fans because he played at Georgia. Brian Robertson, he could be good too. But I don't know. It's something about Jerome. I like Jerome Ford. I like him a lot. Hassan Haskins not bad either, but I like Jerome Ford a lot. I like him. I would like them to pick up a running back like him. That'd be a good pick. Wide receivers, man, look at the wide receivers. Jahan Dotson at Penn State, Alec Pierce at Cincinnati, Romeo Dobbs at Nevada, Jalen Tolbert at South Alabama. We also have Calvin Austin at Memphis, Trey Turner at Virginia Tech, Khalil Shakir at Boise State, Christian Watson at North Dakota State, Danny Gray at SMU. I don't see anybody that stands out, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know any of these guys. I know Alec Pierce for the most part because I watch him play in the playoff game. But I'm looking at other receivers, to be honest with you, that are not listed here. So I'm just going to pass by them. Tight ends, I'm not even going to look at a tight end because of, Kyle Pitts. All right, let's talk offensive linemen. Offensive linemen is a need that we definitely need. There's no doubt about that. Daniel Falale, I think I said that right. Daniel Falele. He's a huge offensive lineman. I remember when Georgia Southern played against Minnesota, and I think he's like 6'9", 400 pounds. I don't know if he's going to be like the top offensive lineman because I already talked about other guys that we should pick. The guy from Alabama, preferably. But he's a pretty good pick right there. He's a pretty good one. I'm looking at these other ones. I'm looking here. Zion Johnson, maybe from Boston College, is not a bad pick. Ed Ingram should be a pretty good one. Offensive tackle, looking at as well. You got a couple of guys from Central Michigan here as well. Got Godecki, and we have Bernard Remain. I mean, God, I can't read today. But yeah, don't see anybody stand out except for Daniel Falale, because I know him. I've watched him play. Jameer Slayer in Georgia. Like I said, that's going to be another pick. Everybody's used to the Georgia kid because you're a Falcons fan. You know who that is. Interior defensive lineman. We could use one to help Grady Jarrett. None of the big names that are out there that's not on here, because we always, everybody's been talking about what's his name, Jordan Davis. Everybody would want Jordan Davis. But if I had to look for somebody, Devontae Wyatt is a good pick, and Ferdarian Mathis is another one. Those two guys. Haskell Garrett, I've seen a little flashes of him, but not much. Edge rushers is a big deal, and I know this may be somebody that they're going to be eyeing. I think that's one of the reasons why they came down to Mobile, Alabama, to the Senior Bowl to look at a few guys. And I think this guy here, Majai Sanders from Cincinnati, is probably one of the guys they're looking at as the edge rusher. I can see them looking at Majai Sanders because he played pretty good throughout the season as well. You got a couple other guys here. Tyreek Smith out of Ohio State. Josh Paschal from Kentucky. He could be another one that could be a steal. But everybody else, Arnold Ebkete, I think I said that right. I haven't heard much about him, but he could be pretty good as well. But I haven't heard anything else from the rest of these guys. Off-ball linebackers, just in case if we don't get Lil Khan back. So there's a pretty good handful of people here that are really good that stands out. Darian Beavers, Brian Osmer out of Oklahoma. You also have Damon Clark out of LSU. Like, all these guys are pretty good. Quay Walker from Georgia. You also have Channing Tindall from Georgia. Like I said, you got some guys here that could actually make a difference. Probably can get them later on in the draft. Cornerbacks, want to get somebody to help A.J. Terrell. I don't know too much about many of these guys here. Darion Kendrick, he played pretty good for Georgia. I think the whole defense played pretty well, so that's somebody that do stand out. Mario Goodrich, he's pretty good, but he's kind of got lost in the sauce because of the fact that Clemson just fell off altogether. Caleb Evans, I've heard his name a few times, and Jalen Watson out of Washington State. Also, I heard a little bit about these other guys. Like, all these guys I've heard a little bit about. Cam Taylor-Britt and Alontae Taylor. So that's pretty interesting. Now we're going to have the safeties here. Jaquan Brisker from Penn State. Jalen Petra from Baylor. Damari Harris from Pitt. Tyson Anderson from Toledo. Yusuf Corker from Kentucky. I don't know much about these guys as well, so you might want to get somebody to be on the other side of Richie Grant. Sounds good. Or push Richie Grant. That sounds good as well. But we'll see how that plays out. Most of the time on the Senior Bowl, the guys are like right there on the cusp that are like actually, they're going to be in the draft, but they're not like the prominent names you hear that are going to be coming out. A lot of these guys are really good. You just really have to follow the teams to know some of these guys. Guys who came out of the Senior Bowl that turned out to be pretty good. Two guys that I know that most people didn't have an eye for, and they're pretty good household names in the NFL right now. Tyler Bass, the kicker from Georgia Southern, and Kendall Vildor, another player that was at the Senior Bowl cornerback from Georgia Southern, plays for the one plays for the Bills, other plays for the Bears, and they're doing pretty good for their teams respectively. So these guys are more than capable of making an NFL roster. These guys are going in the draft, and more than likely these guys are going to be picked. It's just that where and what type of talent that they're going to show off, not only in the Senior Bowl, but at the Combine as well. So that is where this is at the moment. And just because these guys are in the Senior Bowl, that doesn't mean like, okay, they're lower tiers or whatever. They just they haven't had the exposure to everybody else. It's one of the reasons why they're down there, to show off what they can do. So, and like I said, for the Falcons to be down there, it's a win-win. It's a big deal. And I love every bit of it. And hopefully we can get some good results. Get 2 or 3 guys, maybe 4 guys out of the Senior Bowl that's actually, going to be staples for the team. It's a good thing. So hopefully we'll see how that plays out. And we'll see where it goes from here. Later on down in the week or sometime next week, we'll be hearing these guys' name, and we'll see how, how they figure in with the Atlanta Falcons and what they do. So we'll see. That's going to conclude the rest of this. This is going to conclude the show. I really appreciate you guys being here once again. I got my son with me. Give me that, baby. Give me that. Thank you. It's my son, y'all. If y'all have seen any of the videos, you know what I mean about my son. He loves being up here with me. This concludes the show. I really appreciate you guys if you made it this far. If you like what you hear, hit the like button. Also, share this video or this podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you're on the podcast side, give me a 4 or 5 star rating. Got a couple of hiccups with my son here, but I'm just letting you guys know this is about as real as it gets. Not much editing going on here. I keep him in the background. I don't run him off, and he behaves for the most part. But with that being said, thank you guys. Give me a 4 or 5 star rating. Subscribe to the podcast if you like. Also, if you would like to, if you do subscribe, like I said, if you do subscribe, you will be able to get this downloaded on your whatever your device if you choose to. You'll get a notification. Also, whenever you get ready to listen to the show, you'll be able to be on Program Manager. All right, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys once again. I'm going to be up out here. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It's going to be a lot of news for episode 278. Hopefully, you guys will come back and chill with me as we talk about the Atlanta Falcons and Georgia Southern football. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.